Welcome back to another edition of Nebraska Wesleyan Coaches Show. I'm Brandon Axman alongside head coach Brian Keller. Coach, it's rivalry week. I don't think much else needs to be said.
Right, absolutely. This is the time of year that everybody looks forward to. Fans, former players, of course the coaches, and the current players, the alumni, all that. So it's a great week.
Last time I talked to you, you were 0-2. You've turned things around since. You're now 2-2.
Yeah, it's been a great last couple of weeks. The guys have played extremely well, and hopefully we can continue that on here for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Well, let's talk about that first game you had against Briarcliff. It was homecoming. You struggled the first 2 games to really get the ball in the end zone, but that wasn't the case this game.
Well, no, it took a little while. Briarcliff's a good football team, but I think we just kind of wore them down as the game progressed, and we just got a little bit stronger, a little bit more physical, and things kind of snowballed on Briarcliff in that second half, and we're able to pull away and have a nice, comfortable win. Got a lot of guys in.
Because you did. You mentioned you had 7 points in the first half and then 24 in the second. What, did you tell them something at halftime to really get them going?
No, not really. What we were doing was great. It was working, and just like I said, we just kind of need to be a little bit patient. We don't have the type of team. We're not going to have the big 70, 80, 90-yard play. That's just not the makeup that we have. But if we can just chip away and be physical and get those 4 or 5-yard gains, they're soon going to turn into 20 and 25, and that's kind of what happened.
You had 11 receivers with a reception that game. That's kind of that philosophy you talked about, chipping away, putting bodies in there. Anybody can make a play for you?
Yeah, I guess so. We don't sit down. I know some schools and some personnel that said, okay, we've got to get this guy X amount of touches, this guy, we got to figure out ways to get this guy the ball. It's not the way we really operate with this group of athletes. It's just we're calling the plays, and whatever the defense takes away, we know we have another option there. So I was a little bit surprised to see that many guys touch the ball, but that's not atypical.
And talking about the passing game, Francis had 218 yards, got his first passing touchdown of the season. Was that kind of good for him to break that barrier to get his passing touchdowns going, or something you weren't really concerned about?
Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal. As long as we win, I think that's all the guys really care about.
And then we've talked about him a couple times. Aaron Lorraine, he had a career-long field goal that game.
Yeah, he did. Aaron's been kicking the ball really well and had a great day, and it's continuing to improve. That's one thing. He works extremely hard, and he's out there early, way before practice every day, just trying to be more consistent and do the right things.
And let's just talk about how big was it for your team to get that first win of the season?
They're always big. It's better than I guess the other way it could have gone. But yeah, you know you're a pretty good team. You're pretty confident. You believe in what you're doing. But yeah, it hasn't shown up on the scoreboard yet, and now it has. And I think that. Just gave us a little even more confident, I guess, and instill that confidence. And yeah, we are doing things right, and we proved it.
Well, you took that confidence to Iowa when you traveled to number 17 Northwestern right around the next week. Third-ranked opponent in their fourth game of the season. Right. You came out of there with a win, though.
Yeah, we really did, and not just a win, but I think the way we won was really impressive. And if you really dig deep down into the stats, you can see 2 sets of numbers that I think really made a difference. The first one was time of possession. We had the ball 43 minutes, and they had it 17. They had 3 plays the entire third quarter. And that tells you the kind of job that our offensive line was doing, our running backs, the offense as a whole. They were averaging 43 points a game. Our defense didn't give up a score until 49 seconds left. So it was just a great way, but in the way that our guys did win, just total domination on their homecoming, that's a pretty good deal.
Was that part of the game plan going in, doing that time of possession thing, or just playing through the game, that's kind of how it all played out?
Yeah, you kind of think of those things. You're never sure, but as the game progresses, you get an idea of what's going to work that day and what's not, and so you have to be flexible. And I know we did a lot of things on the sidelines between series, and we could see what they're doing, and they really had problems adjusting to some of our unusual sets where we have 6, 7 offensive linemen in the game, and we're able to just dominate them up front that way.
Well, not only did you dominate offensively, but you did defensively as well. They had all-conference running back Theo Bartman. You held him to 19 yards on the day, and I think they had 43 yards rushing total.
Right. Yeah, typical day for our defense.
Yeah.
And we see that defensive line, those linebackers every day in practice. And I think it helps us become a better team offensively and helps us become a better team defensively, because we do have, we're a pretty good team running the football offensively. We're real physical, and that makes our guys better, and it makes us better offensively going against that good group that we have on our defensive side.
Talk about the Northwestern team. You had a 13-game losing streak to them, hadn't beaten them since 1999, and this is the second time in your career you've beaten them. What makes them so tough, and does it make it that much more sweet you came out there and beat them in their place?
Well, yeah, they've got great athletes. I mean, that's the number one thing. They're tremendous attitude. Their punter warming up. Their punters look like a defensive end for us. Their quarterbacks are big. I mean, all their guys, they've just got big guys, or they're big dudes that are fast and can run. So they have tremendous talent. They're well coached. I don't know if you think we're in those 13 years, we lost 8 of those games by either the last play of the game or, I mean, it's less than a touchdown. 2 of those games are in overtime. At some point, you knew it was going to be our day, right? And I guess it was Saturday.
Well, the Prairie Wolves were awarded an all-conference GPAC player on defense for you guys this week, and we'll be talking about him as well as Rivalry Week when we come back here on the Nebraska Wesleyan Coaches Show.
Hi, this is Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy. Did you know that proper insulation levels can help reduce your heating and cooling costs? You can check your attic insulation level with this very advanced high-tech tool called a ruler. Make sure you have 14 to 16 inches of insulation for maximum energy efficiency. It'll help reduce drafts and allow your heating and cooling systems to not have to work so hard. Think of it as saving money by the inches, $1, $2, $3, you get the idea. For more ways to save, visit les.com today. See you next time.
My mother had antiques and my cousins raced stock cars, and I kind of merged the two together to antique cars. Giving old stuff new life, I mean, that's the cool part.
I don't know what it is, digging in an old barn. I really like that. And then the finished product.
We just had accumulated enough projects that we really needed to expand. Union Bank helped us achieve the goal of having our own shop.
They made it easy.
Welcome back to the Nebraska Wesleyan Coaches Show. Brandon Axman alongside Coach Keller. Coach, we're going to talk about some players who've really been doing well for you the last couple weeks. Let's talk about that 1-2 punch you have at running back with Dustin Bryant and Joey Jones.
Yeah, they're a tremendous group. Dustin's been an excellent player for us since the day he stepped on campus. He comes from a very, very small town. He comes from Cody Kilgore. You probably never even heard of him, Brandon, at high school. And very, very small, tiny 8-man guy, but there was something kind of special on film. And when he got here, usually freshmen, particularly kids from smaller towns, 6-man, 8-man players, it takes a while for them to learn that playbook, but Dustin picked it up right away, and he contributed for us as a freshman, and has been banged up as a sophomore, even junior last year. He was hurt a little bit, but as an all-team or second-team all-league running back. But this year he's just playing at a great level, and part of that's because Joey's pushing him, and it gives Dustin a break. We don't have to rely on Dustin all the time. We can bring Joey in, and we're not going to have much of a drop-off there. So it's a great 1-2 punch, as you said.
Dustin, he's a senior. Joey Jones is a sophomore. It's kind of a great situation where you have the senior leading, but you're grooming a guy for the next couple of years.
Absolutely, and that's the way we look at it. We want to get Joey as many reps as possible, but Dustin is the guy that we rely on.
Going to the defensive side now, Phil Latimer, GPAC Player of the Week. He had 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for a loss in that Northwestern game. Just a guy who's been doing big things for you on the defensive line. Well,
he has, and again, in his time here, too, his 3 years here, Phil's been great. He's really benefited the last couple of years by playing next to Russell Walton. Russell would dictate a lot of double teams, and now people are kind of focusing on Phil, but he came through and had a big game for us. It's tough for a defensive lineman getting double teamed, triple teamed to come up with a couple sacks and tackles for loss, but he did and had a great day, and that was part of the reason why we shut down Northwestern like we did.
And he only needs one more sack to crack the top 10 Nebraska Wesleyan all-time career list.
I didn't realize that. That's what you media guys are for, keeping track of that. But that's great, and he certainly deserved that, and he's got another year and a half to add to that.
You mentioned he's getting double teamed, and then is a guy who's benefiting Taylor Teclosty because he leads the team in sacks and tackles. He's also on the defensive line.
Yeah, have a defensive lineman lead your team in tackles. That's unbelievable. And part of that, Taylor's just a tremendous athlete. He can run. He could play a lot of positions for us. He could be a tight end. He could be a linebacker. He can do a lot of things for us. But he does benefit a little bit from the attention that Phil gets. But certainly Taylor deserves everything that he has, and he's a guy that just works tremendously hard.
Now we're moving on to the final segment of the show, the biggest segment, Rivalry Week. You're playing Doane. It's at night. Is this just a game preseason you just circle on the calendar and you know this is going to be a big game before the season even starts?
Yeah, if you've ever attended Nebraska Wesleyan as a student, fan, athlete, whatever it may be, you know Doane's the game. It's the same way down there. This is one of the longest rivalries west of the Mississippi. This will be the 99th time that the two schools have played. I think there's only 2 wins that separate the two schools as you look at the records. So it's tremendous history. It's a lot of fun. What even makes it even more intense is that you pretty much know everybody. A lot of the guys in our team went to high school with guys on their team and vice versa, and we've recruited the same players, and just that familiarity just lends itself to a great rivalry.
And the last time you played these guys was 2011. They came here to Able Stadium, beat you guys on your homecoming. Do some of the older players remember that? They're on this team now and want to use that as motivation?
Well, I don't know. We haven't really talked about that. We don't talk too much about what happened last year, 2 years ago, whatever. But I'm sure that's in the back of their minds. This senior group beat them soundly as freshmen. Were beat pretty bad as sophomores, and then last year was a fairly close game. But you know, we've dropped the last 2 to Doane, and that doesn't sit very well with anybody around here.
Talk about this week of practice. What has it been like? Are guys flying around more than usual, a lot of energy?
Oh, I think so. It's our typical week. We don't try. I don't want to leave our game out there on Wednesday, and so sometimes we kind of try and downplay those things. I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it, but for us, that's a formula that's worked pretty well, and I think you'll see us ready to go Saturday night.
Their opponent you're very familiar with. Just what do you expect to see from them come Friday night?
I think Doane's their program is very similar to ours in a lot of respects. The type of athletes they have, kind of the mentality, that physicalness that you can see, that tremendous effort. So I think there's a lot of mirror images there. So you're going to see a team that's well coached, that's going to play to the very end. It's going to be a very physical football game. I wish our bye week was next week after that to heal up, but it's going to be a great contest.
I got a fairly interesting stat. The last 2 games, they've rushed for over 300 yards, outscored opponents 104-7. Do you think that's a testament to how good they are, or have they been playing a little bit weaker opponents and the stats are a little bit skewed?
You trying to make me nervous here, or what, Brent? No, that shows they're a very good football team. I mean, they are very, very good, and we're going to do our best to try and slow them down.
Well, you guys are holding your opponents close to under 100 yards on the ground, so it'll be.
Well, it should be a great contest, yeah.
All right. Well, final question. It's a game under the lights. It's the only game of the season under the lights. How does that add to the atmosphere?
Well, I think the students will be well hydrated, and on both groups, it's going to be a lot of fun, excitement. It's tough on players and coaches. You got to sit around all day, and you have meetings trying to keep them busy and that. So it's a long wait. It's a great atmosphere, but it's a long wait to kickoff. As a player, coach, you'd rather let's get that 1 o'clock and get going and that sort of thing. And then it's a short turnaround after the game, because then we got to be back here in the office Sunday morning and start working on the next week's game. And so it's great for the fans and the concession sales and everything else, but it's a little bit tougher on the players and coaches.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. I think you'll do fine.
All right, thank you.
That does it for this week's Coaches Show. The Prairie Wolves look to move to 3-2, 3-1 in the GPAC Conference as they take on bitter rivals Doane this Saturday night. I'm Brandon Axmit alongside Coach Brian Keller. Thanks for watching the Coaches Show here on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
The Lincoln Water System knows you are busy, and we appreciate your help as we replace your indoor water meters. First, look for a door hanger with your appointment time. Make sure an adult will be present. Allow easy access to the meter, and make sure the technician is wearing a Lincoln Water System uniform and carrying ID. The free replacement takes only about 20 minutes. For more information, call 402-441-1500 or visit water.lincoln.ne.gov.
The Nebraska Wesleyan University Sports Network presents Great Plains Athletic Conference College Football. Tonight is the in-state's oldest and most heated rivalry, featuring the Doane College Tigers and the Nebraska Wesleyan University Prairie Wolves. This game is made possible by Lincoln Electric System. Use LES to save more. Union Bank. You belong here. And Nebraska Wesleyan University. Now let's send you out to Able Stadium with Jeff Moats and Lucas Mormon.
Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane meet for the 99th time tonight in Lincoln. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Moats along with Lucas Mormon inside Bostwick Park, just outside of Able Stadium. Tonight, Doane comes in here as one of 3 conference teams that have yet to lose a conference matchup. In fact, the last 2 games they played, they've outscored their opponents 104-7, 104 points to 7. Nebraska Wesleyan, on the other hand, though, they come in winners of 2 straight games, including that upset win last week up in Orange City, Iowa, against then number 17 Northwestern. Now, the team that establishes the run game tonight, Lucas, look for them to come out on top.
That's right. The last 2 games, Doane has had over 300 yards rushing, whereas Nebraska Wesleyan has only allowed less than 100 yards rushing against their last 2 opponents. Nebraska Wesleyan has Dustin Bryant, eclipsing the 100-yard mark 3 of the last 4 contests. Doane, though, tough sledding against them tonight, as they are number 7 in the NAI against the rush.
So it may come down to defense, and it's going to be a matter of who's going to come out on top. Right now, it's likely going to be on the side, or at least the edge, going to Nebraska Wesleyan.
Well, yeah, after that dominating defense performance against the Red Raiders in Orange City, Nebraska defensive lineman Phil Latimer was named the GPAC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 6 total tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3.5 of those for a loss. He was part of the defensive line for Nebraska Wesleyan that had 6 sacks and held the Red Raiders to just 46 yards rushing.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Phil a week ago, but tonight it is Nebraska's oldest small college rivalry and probably one of the most heated in the state. It's Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane. The Prairie Wolves and the Tigers kick off next on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
My mother had antiques and my cousins raced stock cars, and I kind of merged the 2 together to antique cars. Giving old stuff new life. I mean, that's the cool part.
I don't know what it is, digging in an old barn. I really like that. And then the finished product.
We just had accumulated enough projects that we really needed to expand. Union Bank helped us achieve the goal of having our own shop.
They made it easy.
Your life is what you make of it. In Lincoln, some are making it fun, some are making it successful, others are making it vibrant, refreshing, economical, creative, interesting. They're making Lincoln home. So, make it young, make it a family, make it a booming career, make it whatever makes you happy. Make your life right in Lincoln.
Hi, I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy. Did you know that for every degree you set your thermostat below 68 in the wintertime, you can save 3 to 5% on your heating costs? 3 to 5%. As some people might say, that's hot. Check us out at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube for even more energy-saving tips like this one. See you next time.
The Lincoln Water System knows you are busy, and we appreciate your help as we replace your indoor water meters. First, look for a door hanger with your appointment time. Make sure an adult will be present. Allow easy access to the meter, and make sure the technician is wearing a Lincoln Water System uniform and carrying ID. The free replacement takes only about 20 minutes. For more information, call 402-441-1500 or visit water.lincoln.ne.gov.
Hi, I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy. Did you know that for every degree you set your thermostat below 68 in the wintertime, you can save 3 to 5% on your heating costs? 3 to 5%. As some people might say, that's hot. Check us out at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube for even more energy-saving tips like this one. See you next time.
Thank you for supporting Lincoln Cares. By voluntarily adding $1 each month to your Lincoln Electric System bill, you've helped improve parks programs and facilities across the city. Now your dollar goes even further. Lincoln Cares has been expanded to support not just parks, but also libraries and programs for older adults. And your donations are matched by community partners. See how much more $1 can do. Visit lincolncares.org.
Welcome back to Able Stadium. Jeff Moats, Lucas Mormon here on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network as we get ready for the 99th meeting between Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane under the lights on a very cold, overcast, and brisk night in Lincoln. But with these two teams and the atmosphere, it's much hotter than it is outside.
Oh, that's for sure, and not just for the players, for the student sections as well. You take a look there. They're still rolling in here. They were smart. Stay inside, stay warm as long as you can, and then come out here and support this rivalry. 99th meeting. It's amazing how even it's been, Jeff. If Wesleyan wins tonight and they win next year in the 100th meeting, it'd be all tied up 47-47 and 6 ties. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
This rivalry, of course, carries over into other sports between both schools, but it's more prevalent on the football field than anything else.
For sure, and you heard Coach Keller, if you joined us for the coaches show ahead of time, Brandon talked to him. He said, yeah, this is the game. Doane Wesleyan is the game. There's other rivals, but like I say, on a chilly night tonight, 41 degrees when we kick it off, and that wind makes it feel a lot colder than it is. I mean, it's a brisk football playing fall evening here in Nebraska. How quickly the weather has changed. Just 2 days ago we're in the 80s, and tonight 40 degrees, 41 degrees at kickoff.
Well, you know, a couple nights ago in southeast Nebraska, tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, and you see that crowd, and the people are still filing in to Able Stadium, and it's hard to believe that 2 nights later it is cold, overcast, brisk, and this is football weather, no doubt, here in southeast Nebraska, as Brooks Earhart is back to return for Nebraska Wesleyan. Jordan Peterson will kick away for Doane, and here we go. High end over end kick, and it's going to be picked up at the 3, and a quick return out here toward the near side, but cutting back in past the 10 and finally stumbling on his own feet and falling down on the return for Nebraska Wesleyan is Wes Betcher. And there you see him trotting out the field. So Betcher with the short return, and we'll get things squared away here in a moment. Want to point out that was Joel Wydell who made the return for Nebraska Wesleyan. So the Prairie Wolves will have it right at their own 12-yard line to begin this first quarter of action.
We talked about it early on in our pregame about the rushing game, so it'll be interesting to see if they go right to the running attack here.
Well, Francis works out of the eye, and it is Bryant who gets the handoff and takes it all the way to the 17, gets a 5-yard pickup before he is tackled on the play. Dustin Bryant, again, one of the top runners, had a great weekend against Northwestern last week in that upset, and that ended a long drought against the Red Raiders.
Especially in Orange City. In Orange City, if any of the fans have been in, you take a look at some of the starters. Tyler Francis, they didn't call him a lot last week in the backfield to pass the ball, but he was very serviceable, accurate, was there. Noah Clausen out of there. Connor Davis gets to start at fullback tonight instead of Lavelle, who's banged up.
2nd and 5 here. And it looks like it's Joey Jones who gets the carry this time. Jones is the backup running back to Dustin Bryant. We've seen Jones a few times this season with some good running ability. There you see the Doane College defense. The line is Varela. And there you see Keeney, Kurtzinger, Wallace, Lenhart, and Thatch. And then the secondary there, Jashawn Walder being among the top echelon of that group.
When you look at that, a 3-4 lineup, 3 of the 4 tacklers on this Doane team are their linebackers, so that line occupies people and lets the linebackers flow to the ball.
3rd down play here, and the pass is knocked down, and it goes incomplete. Jeremy Wallace knocking that down, but a penalty flag coming out.
It's a late flag.
And that was a late flag. That might be an unsportsmanlike conduct.
I mean, he might have been a little early there, had that back arm draped over the top, but let's see what this is.
Unsportsmanlike on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, Jeff, not only do the fans know it, the teams know it, the players know it, the coaches know it, the officials know it too, that this is a heated rivalry. You want to get control of those things early and set the tone so it doesn't get chippy and you don't have the little taunting just like that going on all night.
I would call this Nebraska's version, small college version of Bedlam.
Yes, very
between these
accurate,
two teams.
Jeff.
So 1st and 10 from the 31. Nebraska Wesleyan keeps the drive going off of that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and Dustin Bryant gets the carry, and he tries to force his way through that Tiger defense, and he pushes his way up to the 37-yard line, about a 6-yard pickup for Dustin Bryant. as he was using all of that leg strength to find a way to get through the D, and he did a good job that time.
Well, sometimes Bryant, he put up some big numbers, but he's not a big guy. He could get hidden back there, 5'10", 190 amongst those offensive linemen and find some holes, and that time just good after contact yardage.
Second, and we'll call it 5, 2 splits. Bryant gets the handoff from Tyler Francis, and that Doane defense coming in to make the stop. Good tackle that time, made by Colton Mock out of Crete. And now a third down situation again for the Prairie Wolves, and really no gain on that last play. They're going to mark him, maybe, if anything, a 1-yard loss.
A good pursuit from the backside by Mock that time. He ran that play down, came down the line from that defensive end position that he came up and filled there.
So 3rd and 6. Back at the 35, Bryant in motion. Francis out of the gun. Looking to throw, running out of time, feeling the pressure, throws the ball upfield, goes incomplete. And there was good coverage on the play from Doane that time. Cam Lenhart with the coverage out of Central City, and Francis's pass goes incomplete. Looked like it was Nolan Clausen, the tight end he was looking for. But now a 3 and out on that second part of the drive, and they'll punt.
And there was a blitz that came up the middle, and that time it was picked up, Carlin Kreinert, but he got bowled over. He slowed it down, nothing more, and now the punt.
Vandenberg's punt.
They weren't sure he was going to punt tonight, but he did.
Catch made, return from the 25, short return. Stopped that time by Eric Richards of Nebraska Wesleyan.
Now this Doane offense has really went via the running backs on the ground game, and actually through Hamburger as well, averages about 42, 45 yards on the ground.
There you see Phil Hamburger, the former Hastings St. Cecilia star, out of the pistol, 1st and 10. And to carry that time, not much of a gain at all, about 3 on the play roughly, up to about the 34-yard line. There you see Hamburger, and Kenny Boggs was the ball carrier. Mitch Marvin, Josh Boggs, John Tatum, a former Lincolnite. There you see Dylan Carmichael, Blake Bunner, Petrovsky, Todd, and Lasaukis on that offensive line. Man in motion here as Hamburger works out of the pistol, 2nd down. Toss complete around the 40-yard line. Bulldogged by Kelby Vandenberg, and the reception made that time by the Doane Tigers. It is Noah Kawada, the former Grand Island Islander, who's working out of that slot. So Kawada with the reception, that gives the Tigers a 1st down. There you see the Prairie Wolf defense. Vodoris, Kundal, Latimer, of course, who had a stellar performance last week against Northwestern. Here's a swing pass to Boggs. Kenny Boggs cuts out back down the far side, and he is finally tackled around the 39-yard line. He may have enough for a 1st down for Doane.
Be very close, and you see why Boggs, the second leading rusher in the G-Packs, does a little bit of everything as you take a look at the rest of the Prairie Wolf defense. Reeves, Fecht, and Hand. Fecht back to that linebacker spot after playing up on the lone. Bainey, Wardeen, Richards, and Gunther. And now there is a flag out there. It looks like, no, they're going to bring it in measure. It's that close here.
He may have picked up the 1st down. Kenny Boggs got that swing pass in the flat on the far side from Hamburger. And it looks like it's probably enough, but let's see for sure. Oh, yeah, he got it.
Nose in football there. Boggs, a recent addition to this Doane roster as he came over from a junior college, Pierce Junior College, via California. A California native, played at Pierce Junior College, and then now that starting nod in the backfield.
Hamburger out of the pistol again. 2 receivers to the near side of the field. 1st and 10 from the Prairie Wolf 39. Option to the far side. Hamburger's going to keep it around the 35, and he's finally surrounded and tackled. They'll mark him down about the 33, 32-yard line in between there. It looks like at the 32. Good pickup on the option play from Hamburger on that keeper.
I'd say he has averages about 42 yards per game on the ground, so just enough to keep you honest. He can pick up some yards in the option like that, can scramble when he has to. You're not going to run a lot of designed runs for him, but he is athletic enough to get it done on the option game there.
But as we pointed out, the team that runs the run game tonight will likely come out, and there you see Kawada going out to the far side, tackled by Doane. Out of bounds. Actually, the carrier that time was Clayton Moore. So Moore gets the first down, and Doane knocks him out of there. So 1st and 10, Prairie Wolves being tested here on defense. Ball at the 28-yard line in Wesleyan territory. Clock continues to roll with under 10 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
And a lot of this is decided up front. 2 veteran lines on both sides of the football.
Hamburger looking to throw. Pass incomplete, slightly underthrown. Kawada, the intended target. Brandon Reeves, Seth Wardeen. They were kind of playing that zone deep defense that time. They were kind of watching the pass.
Lots of time there for Hamburger, though, and that's probably one that Kawada might want back. Just kind of, it was thrown, like you said, Jeff, a little behind, but got his hands on it. Probably makes that catch 8 out of 10 times. Brings up a 2nd and 10.
Boggs, far side, the receiver Marvin near side, and here is a handoff. And it is Kenny Boggs who is taken down by Seth Wardeen. And Wardeen, the former Central Catholic standout from Grand Island, with a big stop in the backfield.
Just a great open field tackle here by Wardeen. Comes up from our safety spot. Good job. Stayed in front of the ball carry, broke down. Didn't go for that huge swing and a miss hit, just made the sure tackle. Loss of 3 on the play. First time we've really seen Doane in a long yardage situation on 3rd down.
Back at the 31, short toss to Boggs, complete from Hamburger. Boggs still on his feet, tries to ram his way downfield into a defender, and it's Phil Latimer that takes him out of bounds, short of the first down. The ball marked at the 26, and now the field goal unit will come out for the Doane Tigers.
Man, I tell you, the end of that run, Boggs, not to be denied, is 5'6", 172 listed as, but he finished that run with some authority, not shying away from contact. So 0 for 2 last week in the field goal department were the Tigers.
Jordan Peterson will attempt it. It is a 43-yard attempt. Ball spotted at the 33 for the near side hash mark. Here's the snap, the hold. The kick is up. It's got some distance. Did it go through? And yes, it did. So a 43-yarder good for Jordan Peterson with 8:54 to go here in the opening quarter. Doane strikes first. 3-0 Tigers over the Prairie Wolves on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
Saving energy. Did you know that for every degree you set your thermostat below 68 in the wintertime, you can save 3 to 5% on your heating costs? 3 to 5%. As some people might say, that's hot. Check us out at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube for even more energy-saving tips like this one. See you next time.
Quite a few fans in attendance tonight of this huge rivalry game, the 99th meeting between Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane, and the Tigers of Doane strike first as they lead at 3-0 over the Prairie Wolves with just under 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Jeff Moats, Lucas Moorman, and our Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network crew with you from Able Stadium here in Lincoln. Under the lights. In this game, there's a lot more on the line here between these two teams every time they meet. And here we go from the 6 down the far side. It will be Wydell, who, the freshman, the return man, takes it up along the far side. And they'll mark him down around the 26-yard line. Actually inside the 25 and the 24. So the Prairie Wolves back out on offense. First drive went, they got a second set of downs, and then they went 3 and out from there, and they had a punt. And now Tyler Francis here on 1st and 10. Bryant gets the handoff, breaks through the middle. Nice pickup for Dustin Bryant. Finally tackled. He got through the line that time, takes it up to about the 33-yard line.
Well, that's all Bryant needs is just a little crease. If you can get him a little opening right at that point of attack, good, powerful runner, able to pick up almost 9 yards on the carry.
Yep, Rob Keeney was there to make the stop for Doane. 2nd and a yard to go here for the Prairie Wolves. Now you got a pitch here to the near side of the field, and it's Joey Jones who takes it to the 39-yard line and gets the first down and about 5 extra yards out of it.
Well, this time they go unbalanced to the left side. They run away from that, so everything lined up on the field thinks you're going to see the Prairie Wolves run to that left side. Instead, a little pitch out to Jones moves the chains on the first down, and that's something that we might see a couple extra offensive linemen in here and there, big packages, a tight end, extra tight end, and here you see it again. No receivers, extra linemen, and 2 tights.
Doane coming offside, penalty flags coming out. I think that was pretty obvious right there. They were looking to blitz, and then they were just a little too eager to get in there and try to make a
Offside,
stop.
number 6, defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Fabian Varela, the guy that jumped offside, there you see him for Doane.
Well, early in the game like this where, emotion's a little high, you're amped up, good time to go. Maybe on a hard count, 2-3 times down the field, see if you can't get a few offsides penalty. Everyone's all juiced up.
Francis out of the shotgun. Drop snap, recovers it, looking to throw far side. Pass is going to be underthrown, incomplete. There was some deep coverage on the far side of the field. Dustin Bryant was the guy that they went to. He came out of the backfield and went out on that pass route.
Baumsberger got a hand on it for the Tigers on the rush, and the rush came late. Baumsberger stuck with it. There was good protection early, but Francis couldn't get away from it.
We mentioned earlier Doane's defense, they like to go kind of a 4-3 setup. They kind of like to leave at least 3 down linemen and put the others in the back. Now they'll move another guy up to the line looking to blitz as Larson goes in motion for Nebraska Wesleyan. And it's Bryant who gets the handoff, gets past the tackle, takes it to the 47-yard line at midfield. He's about 2 yards short of the first down, needs to get to the 49.
Yeah, so far this evening, Jeff, they've shown a few different looks up front on that defensive line. They're a pretty standard 3-4 team most of the time, but they've been bringing up an extra linebacker or even a safety all the way up once in a while to give different looks.
Keep an eye on the linemen. They'll put at least 3 up front, those linemen 3, and then you'll see some of those linebackers move up to the line. That's where they're going to look to blitz if they can. And now Wesleyan will spread it out here a little bit on 3rd and 2 from the 47.
Wouldn't be surprised, maybe a little draw play here. Nope.
Francis to the near side, downfield, and it goes incomplete. Zumped the intended target for Nebraska Wesleyan. Jashawn Walter had coverage on the play, and the Prairie Wolves were forced to punt.
They got the coverage they wanted, one-on-one. Zump out there, who's kind of been their new possession big play guy. He's been pretty sure-handed for the Prairie Wolves so far, and able to haul that one in. Pretty good coverage out there on an island.
Here's Kelby Vandenberg's punt. Picked up at the 20. On the return, just like that, big stop there in Nebraska Wesleyan with a big stop on that kick return, the return by Josh Boggs. So Doane will have it at their own 29-yard line, 6:25 on the clock, and there you see again in the replay, Corey Tundahl came
right in there along with Fedora, so they're both there to make sure the return man didn't go very far. Nebraska Wesleyan on the defensive front. Back to that 4-man look. Feck's playing his usual spot back at the linebacker, and they've just been trying to keep it simple lately. Now look out here on the far side. 2 receivers, just see if they drop into a little zone coverage here.
Double wideouts here. Handoff Kenny Boggs through the middle of the line. Boggs takes it to the 33-yard line. Now we got some commotion. Wesleyan thought they got the football back and maybe stripped it out of his hands, but not going to be the case.
Forward progress. Must have been a whistle down there that no one heard through all the commotion.
Now we see Ben Fedoris, Phil Latimer, Corey Kundal, and Taylor Tukolsky on that line defensively for Wesleyan.
And they did a dynamite job last week, Jeff, against the Red Raiders. Held them to just 46 yards rushing in Northwestern, a team that had one of the top backs in the conference.
Here's an option by Hamburger. He's going to keep it, and he's wrapped up and tackled just across the 35 at the 36, and it was Taylor Tukolsky, the former Norris Titan, that came in and made the stop on Hamburger. Third down, and we'll call it about 3 to go at the 36.
This is a veteran offensive line for the Tigers. 3 seniors and a pair of sophomores, but Dylan Carmichael is their All-American over there for the Tigers over on the left side. And you notice, let's see if they maybe go to Carmichael's side.
3 receivers far side, 2 near side. Hamburger out of the gun. It's a draw. He's going to take it, and he's going to be limited from his forward progress and taken down. You had Fedoris over there. You had a cast of others over there. Aaron Bainey. They all helped make the stop that time. Hamburger short of the first down, and now the punting unit is back out for Doane.
Kalen Vandenberg up from his spot, leading the charge right there. Be 4th and 1. Brings out the punting unit. Wardeen back there to receive.
They'll put him down around the 22-yard line.
And that wind that was gusting earlier has really dropped off here, Jeff.
Running rugby-style kick high up in the air. That will take a bounce out of bounds.
It'll be interesting to see where they mark that one.
It went out at about the 40-yard line. And now the Prairie Wolves will bring out the offensive unit again.
So that one may be off. I mean, they did the rollout rugby style and kicked away from Wardeen. We haven't seen anything huge in the return game this year. You know, like we talked in the previous broadcast, you used to have a Cody Eiler back there where you never knew at a drop of a hat he could take you to the house. Well, don't forget he's helping out on the coaching staff, so maybe they thought maybe he'd transfer some of those skills to Wardeen already, you know.
Perhaps. So from the 44, Francis will send Larson in motion for Wesleyan. Doane looking to blitz.
7 guys up near the line of scrimmage for the Tigers.
Francis with a throw, and it goes incomplete off the fingertips on the far side of the field. Looked like that was Derek Horde.
That's the thing about these Prairie Wolves, you know, 15 different players have caught a pass from Tyler Francis this year so far. So it's not like he maybe has a favorite target. He goes to everybody.
Right.
But that was a tough throw for Francis. They rolled him to his right, set in the pocket there. There was nothing. He had to come away all the way back to his last read on the left side. Tough throw across the body.
Jones gets a toss over here, and he is limited from going any further. They're going to stop him right at the 44-yard line. No gain on the play. Good stop that time. Jeff Kurtzinger out of Bennington for Doane was right there to meet up with Jones to make the stop. So the ball is right at the 44-yard line with 3:50 and counting here in this first quarter. A 3rd and 10 situation for Wesleyan. First 2 drives tonight have been limited. Francis out of the shotgun. Slot on the left, receiver split in the right, and another receiver on the far left. Has some time. Screen toss. Complete to Bryant. Bryant gets it across the 50. They're going to tackle him short of the first down at the Doane 47-yard line, close to the 46.
All going to depend on the spot here.
It is
Francis
close.
has decent time. Pressure comes at the end. That knee's down.
And if you're Brian Keller, what do you decide to do? Do you decide to go for it here and sneak it across, or?
Well, they're going to say he literally, I'd say about 2 footballs shy. Get Francis up under center. Now they're having some issues in the play clock here.
And now they're going to have to call timeout. So Brian Keller will burn a timeout with 2:58 remaining here in this first quarter. Doane 3, Nebraska Wesleyan nothing on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
And then the finished product.
We just had accumulated enough projects that we really needed to expand. Union Bank helped us achieve the goal of having our own shop.
They made it easy.
Able Stadium here for Nebraska Wesleyan and Doane on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network. 4th down and inches. Close to a first down. Ball inside the Doane 47-yard line. Prairie Wolves are going for it.
Just let Francis go straight forward with it here.
Let's see what they do. Instead, Francis stumbles, gives to Bryant, first down, still on his feet. And they make a tackle around the 41-yard line. Good decision because Francis figured that they were going to come at him, turned around and handed it off to Bryant.
Well, and that might have been, like you said, right there he kind of stumbles, maybe getting out from center a little faster than usual, knowing they were coming, plugging that middle. Good job up front. Look at the push there, clear the way for Bryant. You know, and that's a big play. Not only is it, a first down is big, but on 4th down, that's just kind of a tide changer, momentum for your offense. Know that you can go out and get that.
Here's Jones on a pitch to him from the 41 down to the 39-yard line where he is tackled. A 2-yard pickup for Jones. Seeing more and more of him, the sophomore out of Papillion La Vista. And he's a guy that if Bryant were to go down, you go to a guy like Jones who's gotten a lot of reps in that backfield this season, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and Coach Keller talked about in the coaches show, it's great to have Bryant putting up the numbers he does, but he said part of the reason is Jones is pushing him in practice every week, and that makes them both better. So a good 1-2 punch for the Prairie Wolves.
Here's Bryant around left side, and he is tripped up on the play by Kalihi Jackson. So Jackson with the trip up on Bryant. 3rd, and we'll call it 6.
You see a lot of personnel packages here by Wesleyan, running extra offensive linemen from that time off the field, back into a more traditional set here where you probably see a couple wide receivers each way, and in fact no one in the backfield for Francis, who's been pretty accurate this year. He's been very accurate throwing the football.
So 3rd and 6, closing in on the 1-minute mark. Francis over the middle, incomplete, and Brooks Earhart might have been nudged on the play. Cameron Lenhart for Doane had a little bit of contact over the middle. Let's take a look at this again. There you see Francis looking for Earhart, and there was some contact there.
Little contact, but Francis last time had to throw off his back foot. Pressure was kind of coming, and not only that, one of the officials in the middle there kind of was in the flow of traffic as well, so a punt comes.
Kelby Vandenberg with a punt, and that goes out of bounds inside the 20, close to the 15-yard line as it goes on the back straightaway of the track. So just over a minute to go here in the first quarter, and Doane with the football, still holding on to that 3-0 lead.
Both teams obviously trying to establish themselves on the ground. Just a handful of passes by the Prairie Wolves. Only, I think, 1 pass attempt so far. And now out at quarterback for Doane,
Phil Tramer. And he's had some relatives that have come through this institution here in Lincoln. It looks like that might be Cowett at that time who took the handoff. Instead, that was Clayton Moore who got the carry. Clayton Moore with the ball carry that time across the 20 to the 21-yard line.
And Moore was one of their guys. He was, if not one of the two, he was kind of the guy last year in the backfield for Doane. And then you get Boggs shows up, kind of took the job away, but again, a good 1-2 punch.
2nd and 4, pistol. Drop back pass, Tramer looking downfield. It is incomplete and off the fingertips of his intended receiver. And the intended target was Mitch Marvin. Deep coverage downfield here for...
And good setup for the Tigers, little play action. Man, he put that exactly where it had to be. Wardeen had decent coverage, maybe a half a step
did Marvin have in him? Marvin is one of the favorite targets. He's a big play guy. He's got 7 catches and 3 of them have been touchdowns so far this year. So, off the bench, come in. Nice strike right there from Tramer.
Reeves looking to blitz. Comes in there instead. That's Latimer who came in to make the stop on Tramer.
Latimer just flat out beat his man there. And a little bit of it was that blitz you talked about, Jeff. It was a design draw, but Latimer shed the block. Came in almost untouched. Tackle for a loss there against Tramer. And that'll be the end of the first, and it ends on a note of Latimer making a defensive play just like he did last week.
So we got 2 seconds left. Timeout called by Doane. So timeout called with 2 seconds on the clock here, with Doane ahead 3-0 over Wesleyan on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy. Did you know that for every degree you set your thermostat below 68 in the wintertime, you can save 3 to 5% on your heating costs? 3 to 5%. As some people might say, that's hot. Check us out at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube for even more energy-saving tips like this one. See you next time.
Good crowd tonight here at Able Stadium. A great crowd. In fact, one of the best. There's some folks that are standing watching this game here at Able Stadium.
Well, it always brings out, you take a look at the student section, this rivalry. Even if you're not from around here, the minute you get here, I think
you get exposed
to it quickly.
Here's the punt. Corey Jones back to return. Gets at the 46. He'll jump on top of it, and they'll mark it at the 47-yard line as time runs out here in the opening quarter. Well, so far, Doane has hit first. Got on there with a 43-yard field goal on a kick from Jordan Peterson, and the Tigers lead the Prairie Wolves 3-0 on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
The Lincoln Water System knows you are busy, and we appreciate your help as we replace your indoor water meters. First, look for a door hanger with your appointment time. Make sure an adult will be present. Allow easy access to the meter, and make sure the technician is wearing a Lincoln Water System uniform and carrying ID. The free replacement takes only about 20 minutes. For more information, call 402-441-1500 or visit water.lincoln.ne.gov.
GPAC football here on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network. There you see the score, 3-0 Doane over Nebraska Wesleyan to begin the second quarter. Prairie Wolves will switch directions here. They'll go south to north and Doane north to south here at Able Stadium. There you see Tyler Francis at quarterback for Nebraska Wesleyan, former Northeast Rocket. In charge of this offense here on 1st and 10. Pass to the far side. And it's Zumpf who makes the reception. And they'll give him forward progress to the 49. So a pickup of 2 on the play. 2nd and 8 coming up.
See if with maybe now the wind technically at his back a little bit more, that they try and work in a few more pass plays here.
Well, the wind was coming in from the west here at kickoff.
And just kind of swirls around, and really it doesn't look to be a huge factor right now.
2nd down play. Jones gets the carry, takes it to the 49 of Doane. It's about a 3-yard pickup on the play. So the ball at the 49 of Doane. We'll talk about some first half stats here in a moment. As Nebraska Wesleyan looks to sustain this drive. Zumpf split far side. Larson and Jones are the receivers to the near side. There's a slot on the right side too for Tyler Francis, who works out of the shotgun. Blitz is on. Eludes a tackle. Nope, couldn't get out of there for very long. And a pretty big stop there for Cam Leonard. And that'll bring up 4th down here. And the punting unit will come out for Wesleyan. Looking at some of the first half stats here, rushing-wise, you're looking at Kenneth Boggs, who had a long 4-yard gain. so far averaging a yard a carry, and then a -3 average for Phil Tramer, who was in at quarterback in that last Doane series. Here's the punt from Vandenberg. Nice kick. And they're going to wave it off and let it go back. Oh, this is going to be close. Can they get to it? Yes, they can. Nice punt from Vandenberg. The Prairie Wolves spot the football, and it's Fedoris, I believe, that ran all the way down there and marked the ball at the 1-yard line.
If there's a flag down. Talk things over. Looks like a flag right about the 20.
Well, there was one around the 5-yard line, too. Let's see what the penalty is.
Defensive coach is out there talking to the linesman for Nebraska Wesleyan. Let's check in and see what we got here. The way it stands, it's inside the 1. Well, if you can read his lips there, it was holding on 17, half the distance, so back it up a half a football.
So they're inside the 1-yard line. That was a great punt by Vandenberg.
Great punt, especially considering wasn't sure he was going to punt this week with a banged up foot. And he's out there.
Wesleyan looking to blitz. Reeves trying to get in there, lick his chops, and it's Boggs who gets the carry on the handoff from Phil Hamburger and gives him some breathing room up to the 4-yard line. Not much, but every little yard counts in that case.
And especially when you're backed up on your own goal line. So Hamburger back out there this drive, so maybe just a case of alternating some guys, trying to find what's working here. I didn't notice any injury to Hamburger.
Here's Boggs again. Boggs trying to power his way through the middle of that line, takes it to the 7-yard line.
You see him, Jeff, these two runs when they need a little room to get a few yards, they're running over Carmichael. Carmichael's on that left side, the returning All-American tackle, and they're going his direction. So 2 sophomores up front for the Tigers, but it's the 2 guards are the youngins on the line. Otherwise, seniors up front as they go big with a couple tight ends as well here.
Pistol formation here for Hamburger on 3rd and 4. Boggs gets it. He is denied and tackled just like that to Colsty and Phil Latimer. You got to give credit to that man right there. Big play from him.
Latimer is just having a heck of a season so far there.
He came right in there.
From under the pile even.
Got him right on the ankle.
Good credit up front.
Phil Latimer with a big game last week. So far tonight, outstanding performance from him.
Well, this one's always physical. These guys are going to know tomorrow morning that they played in this rivalry game.
Here's the punt. Jones going to back up, say fair catch, and they'll signal it, and they'll mark it right at the 50.
So not great field position for Nebraska Wesleyan. Flip the field on him here and need to take advantage. Try and at least get in range for Lorraine or, sustain a drive here. Everything so far has kind of fizzled after a couple big plays right at midfield here. So a good opportunity for this Nebraska Wesleyan offense to go to work.
This offense been kind of sputtering tonight a little bit.
I know last year they had some success over the middle. I haven't seen that yet.
Bryant with the carry, and he's going to be denied. They'll give him a 1-yard loss back at the Wesleyan 49. We talked about how the run game would be the likely way for any of these teams to win tonight. For Wesleyan, the run game hasn't been too helpful.
Well,
for
there's
them.
been glimpses.
They've had glimpses where they've had some good gains. We have not seen some big gains on the ground.
Well, neither team's been able to consistently string those gains together. There might be an 8-yard game by Bryant, and then Jones for 2, and then Bryant for 1. So you got to try and keep everyone off balance as well, and that's where Francis and his receivers, they can hook up on a few things that'll open things up.
Francis in
Lots
trouble.
of time.
Now he's got to move. Far side of the field, and it is incomplete. Official saying incomplete. There was deep coverage. Treshawn Walder had the deep coverage downfield for Doane.
Yeah, and you throw his direction. He's got 3 interceptions on the season so far.
Take a look at this again.
There's a lot. This is as much of a coverage play as anything, and almost on the rebound there.
Well, Dustin Bryant was the target.
But he, knocked into the hands of, not sure who came flying in there, if that was tight end, but almost a tip play catch there.
Pass protection for Francis. Throws a screen toss. Bryant gets it. Takes it out. Cuts out to the near side. Back in he goes, and he's wrapped up and tackled on the play. Now, Ben Muff coming in to make the stop inside the 45 at the 44.
Well, give the Tigers some credit there. That looked like maybe it was going to go for big yards as the blitz came. A perfect play call. Threw away from it with the screen pass, but good closing speed by the defenders on the outside to stay home.
Here's Kelby Vandenberg out to punt. Another kick. This will go into the end zone for a touchback.
And we got a flag back here.
Flag on the play.
It didn't look like Vandenberg got ran into or anything.
Might be a holding penalty maybe against Nebraska Wesleyan.
Talk it over, see if Doane will want to re-kick that, or if not, it'll be their ball at the 20 on the touchback. That drive, the defensive front and the linebackers that time, they were playing 7-8 guys in the box the whole time, the Tigers. There was really nothing doing for Wesleyan in that series. So they're trying to talk it over here. Looks like they're probably going to take it where it is.
Well, the defensive unit coming out for Wesleyan. And the Doane fans down to our right like what they see right now. Here's the official word. So it was a holding penalty against Wesleyan.
So they added that to the end of their run, which was no run, it was a return.
There you see Phil Hamburger back out at quarterback. He sat out a series earlier, now he's back in. Kind of a wing setup with him in the backfield. He'll work out of the shotgun or the pistol. Gives it to Boggs. Boggs gets out of a tackle, and then he is surrounded by Prairie Wolves and stopped at the 30-yard line, just across the 30. No real big gain on the play for him.
Kalen Vandenberg was the one that got there first and just slowed him down enough to turn him back into 3 or 4 of Vandenberg's closest friends, his defensive and linebackers there. That's the thing, you got to make sure you wrap up, make the sure tackle on the open field, because one big play could be the difference in this game.
2nd and 10, Hamburger looking to throw, got some time to run, throws a pass, quick shot to Boggs, dives for it, makes the catch at the 37-yard line. Nobody really around him, he just fell for it and caught the ball.
Yeah, he had to kind of dive forward for that one, just let him a little too far, but good job by Hamburger to recognize pressure was coming, bought himself a little more time. Like I say, he's a threat to run. He was able to find Boggs that time, leaked out of the backfield as the safety valve. Big 3rd down here.
Doane has to sustain this drive.
8 on the play clock.
Out of that pistol, Hamburger, Boggs gets out of a tackle from Bainey. 1st down, still on his feet, and then Wardine finally comes in to finish him off. We'll spot him at the 44. Good run from Kenny Boggs.
Yeah, like we talked earlier, little guy, but he is tough. Look at him finish just right off of Bainey.
Look at that. And then Wardeen finally met up with him, and then some extra help came in from Hunter Hand.
But I'd say for a little guy, he's a punishing runner.
So 1st and 10. This is at the 44.
Under 8 minutes here in this second quarter.
Out of the pistol. It's a fake. It's a run out to the near side. And a big stop that time from Spencer Fecht on Phil Hamburger. And it's going to be for a loss of 2 yards back at the 42-yard line.
A little misdirection trying to catch the Prairie Wolves sleeping. Fecht did a good job of staying home here. Send everyone left. Took just a good enough angle. The stiff arm to no avail from Hamburger.
So this will be 2nd and long here with just over 7 minutes to go in the first half. Out of the pistol again, it's Hamburger. He's going to keep it. Blitz is on.
Lost
Loose
the football.
And the Prairie Wolves recover it. And it's Taylor Tukolsky who comes up with it.
I think it was Phil Latimer who might have knocked it loose, because this was a design draw all the way for Hamburger. And on a chilly night, that one just popped free.
And there is the first turnover forced in this game. Take a look at this. Hamburger's going to carry it, and watch this. And it was Reeves, and I think Corey Kundal, who knocked it out of his hands, and that's where Tukolsky jumped on top of it.
Take a look here from the reverse side. Is right there. Yeah, Reeves is in on the tackle. Latimer, they're both there.
Yep, Latimer was there. Kundal was over in the neighborhood too. Now Doane looking to blitz. 1st and 10. Francis with some time throws the ball, and it's caught. It's caught around the 30-yard line, and downfield it goes. Reception made by Tyler Gibson. Gibson with the first down. Nice pass from Francis.
A lot of times, sooner or later, there's going to be a crease in the coverage. They're in a little too deep that time. If you give Francis time to set his feet, he's showing that he can hurt you with his arm.
And he's got a good line behind or out in front of him to kind of watch his back.
Had a lot of time. That good credit up front to those guys. They gave Francis a lot of time to work with.
From the 25. Here's Francis again, overthrowing it, intended to go to Earhart, incomplete here on the near side of the field.
And Doane brings pressure again almost every play. They're bringing some sort of blitz package here the last couple downs. Moving people around. You know, they play with that 3-down lineman look, but they always seem to have an extra linebacker move up or a safety coming on a blitz.
2nd and 10. And the ball at the 25 of Doane.
Maybe a little confusion on the Doane side of things.
Francis looking to throw. Blitz is on. Toss far side. It's complete to Bryant at the 20. Inside there. Gets a first down on his feet. 10, 5, and tripped up from behind at about the 4-yard line. A huge play from Dustin Bryant. And this will be 1st and goal for Nebraska Wesleyan. That's the type of play they needed.
Made one man miss. Still down over there. I think that is Bryant shaken up. And after he made the first man miss, then he picked up a block downfield from Corey Jones out of his slot receiver spot. Take a look. Long throw for Francis across the body. Makes the first man miss. Makes 2 men miss. Just ran right through that one. And Jones ran a little interference there. Good job right there. And then whoop, slipped to the side a little bit. All the way down inside the 5. He's up.
He might have rolled his knee a little bit.
A little hitch in his giddy up as he trots
Yeah,
off.
he's coming off the field. He'll get checked out. But 1st and goal, the ball will be marked at the Doane 3 with 6:12 to play here in this first half.
Let's see. I bet Nebraska Wesleyan, they do bring out a few extra offensive linemen in this package. They go big. Just one slot receiver and a straight I formation.
Kreinert is the fullback. Handoff, it looks like it goes Jones, and he is bear hugged from behind and tackled immediately on the play as they uncover the pile.
Well, that time the battle up front was just won by the Tigers. No way around that one. They did a good job getting that first step, pushing the line back into the ball carrier. Kreinert out there at fullback. Got a little chip on the linebacker coming in, but not enough to pave the way for Jones. Don't forget Lovell not out there.
Yep, he's hurt.
Got a hamstring injury, so he was unavailable tonight.
So they'll send all receivers out. Play clock at 5 for Francis. Got to get a snap off right here. Man in motion. That is Jones. Here's the snap just in time. Francis looking to throw, rolling to his right. Lobs it up in the air, goes way out of bounds, incomplete on the far backstretch. And the turn on the Woody Greeno track. It looked like Corey Jones was the intended target for Wesleyan.
Good job, though, just getting rid of it. It was going to be a sack, and he just got that snap off in time. I mean, another half a second, and that was going to be a penalty on Francis. So give him credit for getting that snap back there. And now, like I say, they run personnel in and out. They'll go big again as they bring in 2 extra offensive linemen and a fullback, and they're going to have to hustle to get this play off. I think they're going to have to burn a timeout here.
Time winding down the play clock, down to 5 seconds. Francis under center. This has got to be a quick snap. It is a quick snap. And it is Jones who gets the carry, and he is going to be stopped short of the goal line at about the 1. And this will bring up 4th down.
And he was just short, and he got popped right at the goal line. Got about right.
Yep.
3 different Tigers there. Kept on his feet, though, churned forward, fell
They're
forward
going to go
here.
for it. This is a big 4th down and 1. 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Trying to punch it in here. Francis, the snap. Handoff, Jones into the end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska Wesleyan. And Joey Jones takes it into the end zone. And the Prairie Wolves now have a 6-3 lead with the point after pending.
Went over that left side that time. Over Barteldis and Westfall, moving people out of the way, and Jones just lowers his head. Really, look at this, good penetration, good first step, all alone, easily in.
Here's the extra point from Aaron Lorraine. It is good. 4:34 to go in the first half. Nebraska Wesleyan 7, Doane 3 on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
Thank you for supporting Lincoln Cares. By voluntarily adding $1 each month to your Lincoln Electric System bill, you've helped improve parks programs and facilities across the city. Now your dollar goes even further. Lincoln Cares has been expanded to support not just parks, but also libraries and programs for older adults. And your donations are matched by community partners. See how much more $1 can do. Visit lincolncares.org.
Well, all the excitement tonight is in Northeast Lincoln, and it's all coming from the Prairie Wolf faithful here tonight as Joey Jones takes it in from a yard out, and that gives Nebraska Wesleyan a 7-3 lead over Doane.
And that was 2 possessions in a row that Wesleyan had great field position right at or near midfield, and that time they took advantage of it. A nice drive, a good strike through the air for a first down, and then another long pass play for about 18 yards for Dustin Bryant, who made a lot of that happen after the fact, and then after being stuffed a couple downs in there around the goal line, 4th down, do or die time, they punched it in.
Here's the kickoff. It goes back in the end zone. This is going to be trouble. And they're going to wave the clock down. And I think it's going to go as a touchback.
Just a touchback, yeah. Just misplayed that one through the hands there. It sailed. Good leg by Lorraine. We talked about the point differential in the open, 104-7. Doane had outscored their opponents coming in. Take a look just back in the end zone there on that return. Nebraska Wesleyan coming into this game, despite the 2-2 record, was outscored by its opponents 73-72 on the season.
Boggs with a handoff, bumps off tackles like a little pinball.
He just doesn't keep going or stop. He just like the Energizer Bunny out there.
Gets a 2-yard pickup to the 27-yard line. In the 3 of the Prairie Wolves' first 4 games, the Nebraska Wesleyan defense has held their opponents to 10 points or less. The last 2, Wesleyan has not allowed a score until the final possession of the game. What's that tell you?
And so far, they've kept Doane out of the end zone through 1 3/4 quarters here. So,
and it's Hamburger looking to throw, almost intercepted.
It was in and out of the hands.
Kelby Vandenberger was right there. It was right there.
Yeah, Kalen that time just.
That's right, Kalen.
It was almost too easy.
Kalen Vandenberg was right there. He had the, look at that, right there. Oh.
And he knows it.
Yeah.
Because he would have had a little green in front of him, too.
We can understand. Good coverage, though.
And a good job up front as well. I mean, to bring pressure, roll Hamburger to his left, force him out of the pocket where he was comfortable, and an errant throw. And if you get pressure on the quarterback, you're going to force more and more of those. It's pretty simple.
Hamburger pass is incomplete on the far side, and good coverage on that far side of the field. That was Eric Richards, who had deep coverage that time for Wesleyan, a 3-and-out for the Doane Tigers.
And I think that's the first 3-and-out of the afternoon, or evening for the Tigers. And with 3:40 on the clock, that last drive for Wesleyan, a 7-play, 47 drive in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Right now, Coach Keller's probably thinking, let's have about a 3-minute and 30-second drive here, end up with some more points on the board, go into the locker room.
Corey Jones is going to say, let that thing roll. And they're going to mark the football down at the 26 of Wesleyan. That's where the Prairie Wolves will take over.
They'll have a little further to go this time, but Jones, that's the smart thing to do. If you don't feel comfortable fielding the punt, don't field the punt, because more than likely bad things are going to happen. So, you cost yourself an opportunity and maybe some return yards, but rather be comfortable and confident when you're catching that ball. And on a night like tonight where the wind's swirling a little bit and it's cold, that football's a little hard, you want to make sure you have the ball. A turnover is so far the name of the game, and you don't want to turn it over.
So with 3.5 remaining here in the first half, from their own 26 Wesleyan, here is Francis. And a handoff. No gain on the play, actually about a 1-yard loss back at the 25-yard line. We want to point out, we talked about Jeremy Wallace a little bit here tonight. Really not been a factor since early in the game when he got picked up for that unsportsmanlike penalty call.
Well, it's Jones in the backfield here now. You see him there in the huddle. Bryant's still on the sideline. It's like they're working on maybe his ankle. He's got his right shoe off.
Trying to heavily tape that thing up if they can. Here's Francis. Far side catch. Zumpf gets it up to the 35, and he's forced out of bounds. He picked up the first down. They're going to mark him out around the 39-yard line.
Again, another good move after the catch. Zumpf here. A little hesitation, then down the sideline, and that's why you really got to break down here. Overran the play, and that's twice that we've seen Jershawn Walder kind of whiff on a tackle on the sideline. Now, he has 3 interceptions on the year, but so far this evening from IC, shying away from the contact and not breaking down and keeping the receiver in front of him.
Francis. The throw. It is complete to Jones. And Jones makes the catch at the 43-yard line and gets about a 4-yard pickup.
Well, he took a little punishment for catching that one over the middle, but that's to be expected whenever you make a catch there. It's Wallace that time. Or check that. That looked like it was Keeney from his linebacker spot who had the hit immediately after catch. 5 yards on the play. Clock under 2 minutes now.
Work out of the eye here on second down. Jones with the carry, and he is stuffed. No gain on the play.
There's just not a lot going on in that rushing game right now for the Prairie Wolves. Up front, that down line is really taking care of things, the defensive front of Doane.
Coming up here in a little bit, I sit down once again with Nebraska Wesleyan University President Dr. Fred Oles, talking about some things, including some good news when it comes to academic All-Americans here at Nebraska Wesleyan. That's coming up here in a little bit during halftime. 3rd and 5. This is from the 44. Francis looking to throw, finds a target, knocked away. It goes incomplete. It was Nolan Clausen, the intended target, but Alex Thatch, with good coverage, had knocked the pass down. And so Wesleyan will be forced to punt here with 1 minute and 1 second remaining.
And Francis threw to his receiver on his left. It was pretty well covered. Ruskamp, the running back, leaked out of the backfield from that slot position, was going across the field the other way, had 2 to 3 steps on his man, so Francis just missed him that time as Ruskamp was wide open on the other side of the field.
Kelby Vandenberg with the punt. And it's going to drop. It's going to be a loose football. Trouble on the return here as Josh Boggs gets it.
And now they signaled a touchback as he took a knee, but I thought that was, well, he touched it, but he never controlled it, so he never was a runner that came out of the, was with the ball. Although the Nebraska Wesleyan faithful don't agree. Let's take a look here. He misfields it. And then he goes into the end zone and decides.
Starts to run.
I don't know why they.
I don't understand that
I don't
either.
know why that was a touchback at all. He didn't kneel down. I mean, if he would have took a knee there, I completely agree, but he didn't.
Well, now
frankly, I think they just blew this call.
The officials are out there talking.
And
Brian Keller wants to get an answer about what's going on.
I mean, honestly, it's an inadvertent whistle is what it is, and I almost think they'll re-kick it. That's what they're going to have to do because it's just an inadvertent whistle. I mean, it's on the officials, and they're owning up to it because they did. There's not another way around this one. Either that, or they're going to give him the touchback. I don't know. Either way, he never ever attempts to down this football.
So they're going to give him the touchback. It will be at the 20, and the Wesleyan faithful expressing their frustration on that call.
Well, and for good reason. It'll be interesting to talk with Coach Keller after the game about that, but I don't understand that one.
Hamburger gives it to Kenny Boggs. Boggs runs into a tackle, and he is stopped. Takes it about 4 yards to the 24-yard line with 43 seconds and counting here in the first half.
You got to think right now, Doane just wants to get into the locker room, make some adjustments. 34 seconds. They'll have to snap it one more time. I think everyone's still a little confused on that last play.
Clock winding down. Play clock at 15. Game clock at 20 now. There's a 6-second differential. Second, and we'll call it 7. Hamburger out of the pistol. Boggs gets a handoff again. Tries to burrow a path through, and he is denied. They'll stop him at about the 26, and the time will stop on the game clock with 4 seconds remaining.
I think Nebraska Wesleyan is going to take a timeout.
So the Prairie Wolves.
Little gamesmanship here. Although with 4 seconds left, it is third down, so if they stuff them here, it's going to have to be a very quick stuff and timeout, Jeff.
So a timeout on the field with 4 seconds to go here in the half. 7-3 Wesleyan on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Ryan with LES's Save Money, Saving Energy. Did you know that for every degree you set your thermostat below 68 in the wintertime, you can save 3 to 5% on your heating costs? 3 to 5%. As some people might say, that's hot. Check us out at les.com or do a search for LES Video Vault on YouTube for even more energy-saving tips like this one. See you next time.
4 seconds remain, and Doane will have it for one last snap, and it goes to Boggs around left side on third down, gets the first down. Flag thrown on the play. Boggs is finally tackled, and they're going to mark him out at around the 37-yard line, but a flag on the play as the time expires here in the half. But let's see what the penalty will be from the head referee.
I would think at this point, if it's a hold, they'll decline it and go into half.
So we're at the break here at Able Stadium. And so far, Nebraska Wesleyan has been limiting Doane's attack on offense, mostly defense, but the Prairie Wolves have a 7-3 lead here at the break. against the Doane Tigers. Back with more from Able Stadium in just a moment.
My mother had antiques and my cousins raced stock cars, and I kind of merged the two together to antique cars. Giving old stuff new life. I mean, that's the cool part.
I don't know what it is, digging in an old barn. I really like that. And then the finished product.
We just had accumulated enough projects that we really needed to expand. Union Bank helped us achieve the goal of having our own shop.
They made it easy.
Welcome here to Boswick Park. I'm Jeff Moats here on the Nebraska Wesleyan Sports Network, joined by Nebraska Wesleyan University President Dr. Fred Oles. And Dr. Oles, thank you for joining us here.
Delighted to be with you, Jeff. It's always a pleasure at halftime.
I understand that you've had, in the last couple of years, you've been serving on the the NCAA Division III President's Council. Explain more about that.
That's right. We've got 18 members from all over the country, all college and university presidents. I'm finishing up a 4-year term, and it's a delight to serve. Division III, Jeff, is the largest of the divisions in the NCAA, 450 colleges, most of the really esteemed liberal arts colleges in the country.
And it's my understanding, too, that academic excellence continues from the standpoint that Nebraska's Wesleyan's among the ranked colleges and universities all time for academic All-Americans, too.
I'm delighted to confirm that. Yes, we rank number 8 in the nation for all colleges, all universities, all sizes. We're right up there in the top ranks with the University of Nebraska.